All right, y'all. Welcome to the Let's Get It On with Relationship Coach Sadie show. She is back and in effect on BKS1 Radio.com. Sadie, welcome back.
I am so glad to be here. Yes, sir. Sadie in the building. We have Wayman Gibson here with us today. Wayman is actually one of the most positive people I've encountered in my entire life. So because of the topic today, teenage suicide, I felt as though Wayman would be a good contribution to this conversation to bring some positivity to anyone out there who may have contemplated suicide. And also maybe be a prevention. His positivity could be a prevention for anyone who may think about it in the future. If Wayman can help spread some of the positive energy he has, he may be able to help some of you.
All right. Well, thank you for having me on the show. And I hope to, hopefully, what I can contribute will help everybody out there, get on their feet, get a leg up, and look at things differently than they are right now.
Okay, thank you, Wayman. I know we had a caller. Is our caller on the line?
Yes, caller from the 434.
Caller, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Caller, today our topic is teenage suicide. And let me just tell you how we came up with this topic. Basically, as you all know, I've been on vacation, just off the air for the last 4 to 5 weeks, just doing personal things with my family. And I got a call while I was out from a teenager that told me they were contemplating suicide. And when I realized that, I started doing some research while I had a teenager on the phone. And I'm like, I didn't realize it was so popular amongst teenagers. And then some of the other things that the kids shared with me, that he had a lot of piercings and a lot of tattoos. And he says that he does these things because he thinks they're going to make him feel better. And every time he gets a new piercing or he gets a new tattoo or a new pair of contact lenses or a new haircut, it doesn't do anything for him. And he says he's trying to do all these different things to suppress this feeling of depression, of wanting not to live or whatever have you, but nothing seems to make him feel better. So I was like, wow, this is something that we need to address. So when I started doing some research, I found out by the Disease and Control that basically suicide is the number 6 top homicide rate between young adults ages 15 to 24. So I realized that this is serious. I do know when I was growing up, there was a cousin that I had that confessed to me that she tried to commit suicide by taking some of my grandmother's medication. And at that time, we were 13 years old. So suicide, I think a lot of parents, and I don't mean to offend anyone, but a lot of parents of minority children, specifically the African-American race, has a tendency to think that doesn't affect us. They have a tendency to think we don't need therapy, and therapy is a bad thing. But the fact of the matter is, regardless of your ethnic background, for the most part, we're all wired the same way, and things affect us as people. Not to mention that African Americans, if you look at it from a logical perspective, have actually endured and went through oppression and slavery longer than any other race. So we probably need more therapy as opposed to thinking that we need less. So not to mention that African American kids experience different things as they're growing up than kids of any other race. So that probably puts us more so at the forefront as opposed to the little theory that we don't need it and that's a bad thing and it's frowned upon. So I figured we would have this show today because there's a lot of parents out there that need to pay attention to some of the warning signs of their children. And one of the things is wanting new video games all the time. He talked about how he always wants a new video game. He's constantly trying to find a thrill, but nothing seems to take away that feeling of depression, of not wanting to live. So basically with everyone we have listening today, before we move into the next portion of this topic, does anyone want to contribute anything, say anything, or ask any questions?
It seems like lately, Sadie, bullying is a big contributor to teenage suicide. A lot of kids can't cope with the things they deal with in school, and there's so much peer pressure.
Right.
As we know with the young man that basically at the Rutgers situation, when he was exposed, for being gay, and somebody had videotaped him and put that videotape on Skype, and he killed himself and he jumped off a bridge. Mm-hmm. A lot of times teenagers suppress their emotions and what they're feeling so much that they feel as though the only way they can deal with it is by taking their life. Right. So bullying is a big contributor to that factor right there, teenage suicide. Yes,
you're absolutely right. And one of the things that I did read when I was doing research is that 4 out of 5 males are more likely to be successful at the suicide than females, because a lot of times the males, they think about it and they're willing to go more aggressive than a female, i.e. the cousin that I said I had was a female. She did pills, but they said that a lot of times guys are more likely to slip their wrists, hang themselves, or even shoot themselves. Females take a softer approach to it that usually doesn't.
Do you also think there's more pressure on males? Because in society, males are always known as the providers, that have to be more tough, more macho. Yes. And so there's more pressure on the males?
I think that's a good point. I didn't think about that, but it's a good point you raised. I think there is more pressure on the males, because here's the thing. When a female's being bullied on Facebook, i.e. that situation, I think most of you probably saw the video that went around when the one girl was talking about her on Twitter, and yes, she kicked her door and literally whooped her behind. Right. The fact that that girl got beat up is probably like everyone's consoling her. Oh, you poor thing. But let's flip it around. If that was a guy getting beat up on video like that, not to 10 when he got to school on Monday, somebody else be kicking his butt because you're a punk. Right. So that's a good point you just raised. It. Yes, I think it does probably, and it does say that more males have a tendency to even contemplate suicide than the females. So that's a good point, because guys have to be tough. If somebody in the school is teasing you or messing with you, you better be ready to fight. Even if it's 6 of them, you got to go handle your business, or you're a punk. Well, so a female could just be like, I'm not fighting her, I'm too pretty, and it's over with.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that. And even to expand on what you're saying, like the cyberbullying has been an increasing problem among all teens.
Right. Yes.
Because the issue is now with cyberbullying, once it's out in the internet, it's out there forever.
It's out there forever.
Everybody gets to watch it over and over. So you're constantly humiliated, which adds to the depression that most teens go through. And in regards to the males, it is a big problem, because, you're, as a male, most men are raised to, you got to stand on your own. You got to be that alpha. The problem is that they never expand on the part where they say there's one alpha always tougher than you may be.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
But I think the one thing that we do have to start doing with our male kids, even with our female kids, is before we start talking about how strong we need to be, we need to start talking about how in tune we need to be with ourselves. Because if you don't like yourself, how is anybody going to like you?
That's right.
True.
So, and when we grew up as kids, we thought about that a lot. It's basically, you hear your parents say all the time, don't worry about what those other people are doing. You do what you got to do. And you kind of like shrug it off, because they're not really saying it in a way that you can understand. Like, and the kids that I encounter sometimes, I will explain to them, like, it's not about what everybody's doing. It's what you feel comfortable doing yourself. Because at the end of the day, no matter how much somebody pressures you, nobody can make you do what you don't want to do.
Right.
So in some extent, pressure, you made a decision to pursue that, whether positive or negative.
Right.
So you have to be able to be comfortable enough with yourself first.
I like that. Okay. Caller, did you have anything you want to contribute to that?
Yes, I do. From back when the men were in Vietnam, they used this chemical called Agent Orange. And I guess you're all familiar with that. How what it did was it left the men with mental disorders. And that Agent Orange, there's Agent Orange, there's Agent Green and Red. And what they do today is they use Agent Red for fertilizer. So if that left the men from Vietnam mentally disturbed, it's depressing our children too. And you hear of a lot of people now, bipolar, schizophrenia, that's where it's coming from, straight from the food, and say nevertheless even our water.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we just pulled up some statistics here on suicide rates over the last 18 years, okay? And it says here that every 14.2 minutes,
yes,
someone in the United States dies by suicide. Now, let's just think about that. Not someone in the world, but someone in the United States. Help me. How many states do we have again? 51?
52, right?
50. We have actually 51 right now.
Oh, 51.
51? Okay, so we have 51 states right now. Yeah. So every 14.2 minutes, how many people is that in an hour? So 15 minutes, 4 people an hour approximately, right?
Yeah, about that.
So 4 times 24, there's about 60-something, almost 70 people a day. 70 people a day. We can go on for about a year. How many people a year?
Right.
You're talking about maybe almost 100,000 people a year. Am I going too far?
Right. And these stats are taken from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Also, nearly 1 million people make a suicide attempt every year.
1 million people.
And that's something to think about.
1 million people. You know, there's some people. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have probably seen it in a movie where they're upset about something. You get in a car with someone and they're driving reckless. They're driving crazy. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they don't know what they're doing? Do you think for 1 minute when they're doing that, they don't know what they're doing? They get to that point where they don't give up.
Right.
And if it happens, it happens. I'm so pissed off right now, I don't care. Yeah. People get there. Sometimes people get really upset. They go out and drink. And everyone knows their limit. We all know our limits. Yeah. But you go out and you drink and you drink and you drink and you drink. And you're like, I don't give a F. I don't care what happens tonight.
Yeah, because you feel like no matter what the problem is, no matter how many times you try and look at it, you can't solve it. But a lot of people just, what I advise is you have to really take a step back. And it's not even a figurative step. It's a literal step. You have to literally remove yourself from that situation for a minute to really look at it and piece it together. Because, as just like the statistics shows there's a pretty much, I would venture to say, more than 1 million people that have thought about it but haven't done it. Now why is that? Where's the difference between attempting and not attempting?
To me, step back.
Exactly. It's the process of thinking about it and looking at the situation. Because realistically, your life is the most precious thing you have. And to sit there and just think that there's nothing else that you can do but to take your own life to solve a problem that, when 9 times out of 10, if you got through it, you could look back on it and it wasn't even as bad as you thought it was. It was there because it's more of a lesson for you. Everything we do in life is a lesson. Everything you see, everything you hear, everything you do is a lesson. Sometimes you see the lesson when you first hit it. Sometimes you don't. Okay.
I see basically in the statistics as we were looking at. I know that today's topic is teenage suicide, but I just saw something that was very interesting. And it says that the suicide rates are highest for people between the ages of 40 and 50. So what is that about? So we're sitting here focusing on the teens today because that's where the phone call came from. But for any of our listeners out there, listen to that. You may have a son or daughter, a husband or wife, a cousin, a coworker, who just seems withdrawn, who just seems like, it doesn't matter. Sometimes people get to that point where it's just like, doesn't matter. What do you want to eat? It doesn't matter. Where you want to go? It doesn't matter.
Right.
You better pay those things attention.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the ages on the statistics, 40 to 59. And the crazy thing about it is, I'm thinking, why 40 to 59? And I'm thinking it's because, at 40, the age of 40, plus, you're thinking like, I want to be at a certain point in my life. I should have certain things in my life.
Yes.
I should be accomplished. Mm-hmm. I should be married. I should be at this point in my career. Mm-hmm. And if these things didn't go right in your life and you're still trying to get these things, you could feel so inadequate to the point to where it may make you want to contemplate suicide.
Right.
Now, I'm also looking at the fact where they talk about mental illness. It says most people with mental illness do not die by suicide. So what does that say as well? Most people without a mental illness do not die by suicide. So it could be normal,
right,
perfectly healthy, mentally healthy people that are taking their lives.
I think the people with the mental illness have different expectations
Absolutely.
than the people who
Absolutely.
Well, that was a good point.
Yeah. But I think for most of those people in that age range right now, with the current state of affairs with employment, finance, if you really want to break this down to the nucleus of the situation, you're probably going to sit there and think that finance is going to be a big part of it. A lot of people between 40 and 59 are getting arbitrarily laid off, whereas their nest
true.
egg is no longer a part of that plan because you've actually dove into your retirement to stay afloat until you can find a job. But then you have the situation where between 40 and 59, a lot of companies aren't going to hire you because you have so many people under that age coming out of college, grad school, coming to get these jobs.
And they're willing to take less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they're going to take less because they have less experience, and they're not going to pay for the experience that these other individuals have. So in those situations, sometimes they feel like they're against the wall because in their mind they can't do anything else, which really isn't true. I mean, I've met many a person. I can personally tell you there's a person that I know right now just like 75, went back to school, started a whole new career.
That's amazing.
I mean, and what they told me is like, you know, life is life. Life goes on whether I'm here or not.
That's right.
And the best thing you can do is to be the best part of your life that you can be.
Right. What I would like to do is I'd also look at the suicide rates. Have they increased since we're in this new age of information? One thing I would like to point out is that basically, if I had to make a suggestion as to what we need to bring some of the teenage suicide rates down, our topic of discussion today, the family foundation is not the same anymore for the teenagers. They're given all this technology to replace mom and dad, children sitting at the dinner table with their parents, and vice versa. And I think people just don't realize how lonely and alone they feel. Yes, you brought them $1,000 iPad Touch. I don't think they call it a touch. You just got to say iPad. Okay, yeah, there you go. And, you know, they have all these gadgets and expensive things. But I think what they're missing is that one of the reasons the family used to sit down at the dinner table is because you would get to look at your children's faces and you could see that they may have had an awful day, or that they're not themselves. They're not talking as much at the dinner table as they normally. You could say, well, John, how was your day at school? And then John's like, my day was good, Dad. And remember, you see in the shows where he said, well, you're not touching your dinner, right? Yeah. And then he said, I'm hungry today. And then you may see the husband say to the wife later on, you know, something's wrong with him. And then the next day, John comes to the table. It's the same thing. The father puts John to the side and says, you know what, if there's anything wrong, you can talk to me, right? Or the mother, let's say it's a single mother. The single mother would notice at the dinner table something's wrong with John. And she may go to his room later on and say, John, you know, whatever's going on, you can talk to me. She may call her brother up and think John may feel more comfortable talking to another man. But what happens now is the kids are eating separately. They're in their rooms with all this technology. Everybody's isolated. They say that we have more connection to each other now than we ever did in history, but people have a tendency to be more lonely now than they ever have. That's what statistics show. People are at their loneliest right now, today, than they were 100 years ago when we didn't have internet, text messaging. You want to say something?
No. I was just about to agree with you because I believe that. You would think it would be the opposite. But no, I just agree with what you're saying.
Now, Absolutely. They say when a child, I'm sorry, I should stop saying they say. Statistics show when a child turns 13, they need someone to mimic. And that's why it's very important at that time for a male to either have a big brother, part of the Boys and Girls Club, a family member, or someone where he can imitate. It's the same thing for a female, but now she's going to start to imitate her mother more so. So what do they need? They need someone to feel close to, to be part of something. That's evident with the gangs now. That's why the gangs are so popular amongst these kids, because they want to be part of something. What that used to be was family, but it's gone now. The hours, the work hours have increased. Parents are not home anymore when these kids come home. You figure 2 out of every 10 children in a room have working parents. So their family's not there. They get so used to keeping everything inside and becoming so independent, they get to the point they don't know how to depend on someone when they need to. And they don't know how to tell someone, I'm feeling suicide. What if that kid who died at Rutgers had a strong family foundation where he felt as though, you know what, I could tell my parents anything and they'll love me regardless? Well, he may have picked up the phone and called home and said, you know what? Someone just showed a video. He might have ran to his sister. But the brother and the sister aren't even at the table anymore. Nobody has that glue anymore. The glue is gone because the glue was with the family.
Yeah.
The glue's gone. Every single person, from what I understand, the statistics show, seems to feel like it's me against the world now.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. And even with the youth now, not only is the family detached, but the youth is detached from society itself.
Mm-hmm. They text everything. There's no picking up the phone.
Let's just take it back for a moment. You know, going out to the park, playing basketball after school. You know, interacting with other kids outside of, you know, the Xbox Live, where you're sitting there on a headset. I mean, you're talking to people all over the world, but you're not actually seeing anybody. You're not getting outside. You're not viewing the world. You're not talking with different people face to face. Everything's completely like, you know, phone, text, webcam. There is no interpersonal relations with any team.
Right, and when we add up the biological needs that human beings must have to be emotionally sound and stable, physical touch is one of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We're going to take a...
There just isn't any love anymore. There's no love. Because if you can't sit down, if it's like you can't even have a minute because of the workload today to sit down and see what's on your child's mind. Although you may love the child, that child's not feeling any love.
Okay, do we have another caller from the 434?
That could be the same caller.
Same one, just switch phones.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Yeah, I mean I agree with that. When I look at how PlayStation and iPhones have become babysitters, it's amazing. Like, the whole human touch factor is out of the equation now, and you need that. You need that to be healthy and to feel complete.
Let's rewind a little bit. Let's say that we have a family, okay, and you're a child, I'm a child, everyone in this room are children, and you're in a 2-parent household, and we're gonna go back, and we're gonna be, say, anywhere you pick your age, between the age of 9 and 16, 80 years ago. Yeah, rewind. And it's 7:25 in the evening. What do you think everyone in your house is doing? You can put however many people in your family you want, but I think most of us in this room have siblings. Okay, so that's good. So where are your siblings? Where are your parents? What are the activities? What's going on?
There's probably books around. People discussing the Bible, you know, books, just conversation. Sitting around probably a dinner table with a candle. How long ago you say?
80 years ago.
Oh, 80, okay.
And you're 9. I mean, somewhere between 9 and 16, sorry.
Yeah, definitely around the table. Definitely
right.
Candlelight. There's no TV. I mean,
there was a radio then.
There may be radio, but radio is only going to be on for maybe 20, 30 minutes, and then you're talking with the family, and then you're about 9:30, 10 o'clock. Everybody's in the bed.
Yeah.
So it's 7:30 now.
Yeah.
I'm 9. I'll be 9. I like to be young. So I'm 9. I'm probably outside playing. Outside jumping double dutch. In the street with my friends, right? They don't jump double dutch no more. They're going to do it on Wii. With one person in one house, the other person in the other house, and we all jumping on double dutch on Wii from our own houses. Absolutely. You don't even sit there and play video games together anymore. They're all separated with somebody in their ear.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so what else is going on in the household? 9 to 10, we're going to all do what? Eat dinner together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, some of you chose to be teenagers, once the little 9-year-olds like me go to bed, say about 10 o'clock tonight, everybody's in by dark back then, right? So the crime rates, nobody got shot, you know, nonsense because the kids were in the house. Okay, so now I'm 15, and let's just make all of us in here stair-step children because there were a lot of those back then. Okay. So now mom and dad have taken it down, and we're all stair-step children. We're, say, 14, 15, 16, 17. What are we doing? We're not ready to go to bed. What are we all doing now? But we got to be in the house.
Being creative, playing, talking,
playing
tag, doing something.
And bonding, right? So now if I'm that same child, rewind 80 years later in Rutgers, and this happens to me, I'm more likely to what? Pick up the phone and call one of y'all, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because there's one of you in here that I know will not clown me when I tell you I was caught in the bed with another man. It may not be you. It may not be you. It may not. Boys, that's everybody, right?
Gotta be one of us.
It's one of you. usually when there's siblings, you have one that you identify with more than the others. But you figure that out by spending what?
Time.
These kids don't spend time no more.
Yeah. I'm looking at some of the contributing factors to teen suicide. Some other factors: divorce of parents is a factor. Violence in the home. Inability to find success at school. Feelings of worthlessness. Rejection by friends or peers. Substance abuse. Death of someone close to the teenager. The suicide of a friend or someone he or she knows online.
One of the child who gave me a call, one of the reasons I remember, one of the things he identified that I didn't hear on there is it sounds like he wasn't ready to go to a next step in his life that his parent felt like he should have been to. And just to point that out, I think another thing is that sometimes we may push our kids to grow up a little faster than what they're willing to do. Like, I can't say, like, I took my daughter to the pediatrician this morning and he showed me a growth chart. And he's like, they're right on schedule where they should be. Their weight's going with their height at the same time.
Right.
But you really can't say how tall they'll be next year.
Right.
No matter what, you can't say, based on this is how tall they'll be next year, because she could stop growing and all of a sudden, like he said, hit puberty and go boom. Right? Well, it's the same thing with your emotional growth or your spiritual growth. No two kids, even sometimes twins, can be a little bigger or taller than the identical ones. Mm-hmm. So it's the same thing when kids are, you say, you know what, you're a little immature. You should be wanting to do X, Y, and Z at your age. That's that growth chart. That child may be the most immature at 16 and then at 24 be the most mature amongst his people. Everyone grows at a different rate. Mm-hmm. And I think that as parents, we have to accept that and just let them grow in their time. Let them be who they are going to be. Because one thing you pointed out is you have to be happy with yourself.
Right. Yeah.
And if you can't be yourself, how can you be happy with yourself?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
So I think sometimes parents actually help inflict that feeling of I don't want to live because I'm just not what anyone expects me to be.
But you know what? And that's what none of these statistics and none of these websites said. Key word, based on what you're saying, fear is a big contributor to suicide. The fear of growing up. The fear of, okay, I'm only 14. I feel like people want me to be this adult and I'm not ready for it yet. Right. I don't know how to handle all the pressure, everything that's being thrown at me. Right. I just want to be a child. Right. So a lot of times fear plays a big factor into another contribution to suicide.
Yeah. And unfortunately what I've noticed sometimes is like parents are unknowingly dream killers.
Right, yes.
They're not knowingly trying to stunt their kids' emotional growth or spiritual well-being, but how many times have you seen as a parent your child says, well, I want to be an astronaut when I grow up, and you're like, the chances of you being an astronaut are just so far away. I think you need to go think about trade school or do construction or something like. The thing that I've learned from past relationships where people have had kids and I've been with them and helped them to grow up is like, look, if you want to be an astronaut, okay, let me show you what it takes to be an astronaut. If you still want to do that, I'm there for you. Right. If you don't make it, I'm there for you. The point is, that I'm there. Yes. Right. And that's where a lot of kids don't get. They don't get that feeling that no matter what, mommy and daddy here, whether mommy and daddy divorce or not, mommy and daddy here for me. Mommy and daddy can hate each other's guts all day long, twice on Sunday. But if I say I need something, they get along just fine to help me.
But a lot of parents don't do that.
Exactly.
And that's why I think the kids feel like they got divorced.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't just divorce each other, you divorced me.
Right.
I think that's where the pain comes in. You left each other and then you divorced me. You both went on with new lives. Now, where's my family? Because you started a family. Where's my family?
Right. To his point, though, is absolutely right. Like he said, dream killers. Yes. There's a way to expose the dream and give them the facts. Okay, if this is going to be your dream, here's the facts to it. You're going to have to do X, Y, and Z. And it's funny because what I encountered from the business I I have a lot of young kids coming to me and teenagers coming to me saying, Norm, I want to be this rapper. I know I'm dope. I want to be in the studio. I want to make millions and millions of dollars. I could be better than Drake, Lil Wayne, whatever. So I break it down and I show them this is what it really takes to be a rapper. You need to know about publishing. You need to know about royalties. You need to know about this. You need to know about that. And I'm hoping that some of them will say, you know what, I'm going to finish my education in college or whatever like that. I'm not trying to kill their dream because I was them. But like you said, sometimes it's important to break down those facts and prepare them of what the hardships is going to be with that career choice that they made.
Well, see, even going a step further with that, I would, if it was me, I would tell them, you know, all right, you want to be this? And I'm telling, just like you said, this is what it takes, this is what it takes, this is what it takes. Now, my advice to you, go to college so that you can take these classes to prepare you to know how to do the business side. Because the glamour side is going to always be there. The glitz and glam is going to be there. If you got skills, your skills are always going to be there. But if you don't know the business, these sharks will eat you alive, spit you out, and then leave you out there, leave your carcass out on the side of the road. It's up to you to be able to stand strong, be knowledgeable, and that's how you're going to succeed.
Thank you. What I'd like to do now is we've kind of discussed suicide and its whole entity, some things that people do to identify, statistics, so forth. But what I would like to do is I know for a fact that this is one of the hardest things for people to talk about if they've ever thought of suicide, if they're thinking of suicide. And I really didn't kind of expect the phone to be ringing off the hook with people saying, yeah, I want to die, you know, or I thought about dying. It's very hard for people. So what I'd like to do is just for those who may be listening and silently hurting or have silently hurt in the past. Like I said, I have Wayman Hobson here today on the show because I haven't known Wayman that long, but he's one of the most positive people I've ever encountered in my 20 years here on this earth. So, hold on. Yeah, I'm 20, and I mean, I tell you, I've seen a lot in these 20 years, and you are very positive. So now what I would like to say is, can we all just basically share here a time in our lives where we may not have been contemplating suicide, or if we were, and you just were really down, but you came back, how you were able to come back, and now that you're through it, how you can look back and see why you had to go back. So,
I could start off right now. I mean, honestly, in my teens, in high school, probably like my freshman year, I actually did think about it. And I thought about it for a couple of reasons, because with myself, I've never been a small person. So as a kid, you know, you're talking about 14 years old, 5'6", 190 pounds. Like, I was always solid, but I'm really, you know, fair.
right.
So nobody could really tell what race I was. And the biggest thing for me was always, you know, how light I am, or how fat I look, or how this, and this, and how, you know, everybody just seeing it just felt like the world was just coming at me with spears all day, every day. And, you know,
Right.
sometimes I'd be walking home after school and be like, you know, I don't even think the world would miss me if I just left right now. But what I'd started doing was, it's like, that's where I first learned about taking a step back.
Right.
Because I'm like, you know, I'm really thinking about killing myself, and I want to know why.
Right.
Because the survival instinct in me says you got to be out your mind to be trying to kill yourself.
Right.
Because self-preservation is the biggest stopper of all,
Right.
you know, suicide attempts. Like, you know, most people do it for attention, but self-preservation is the reason why you make the cries out for help. Now, because of that, I took a step back and I said, this is what I'm going to do. All these people that are persecuting me while I'm going through this change and stuff, I'm just going to really sit back and just be quiet and just watch. And as I'm watching these people, what I noticed just kind of woke me up and made me realize, you know, this is not that serious. Because what all these teens don't realize is when you're thinking about killing yourself, if you take a step back and look at all the people that are, you know, bullying you or bothering you, they have the same problem you have. Mm-hmm. They're just expressing it more aggressively because they feel like they can, because they see that you're not as aggressive as they are.
You don't feel that way,
Exactly.
and they're like, "Well, what's wrong with you? Because you're better at oppressing it,
or even to go further,
suppressing
the
it.
The bully in them is just to make them feel better. It's giving them the self-worth to put you down.
Right.
Like there's nothing easier. There's no better quick fix than to step on somebody to go back up another step.
Right.
So when you notice that, you can sit there and actually look at that person, and you can actually turn that against you can actually stop that dead in its tracks. If you see that they're no different than you, you can say what you want. They know that they got you when you let them get you. If you decide in your mind that you are fine with you know what? My thing was, when they started bullying me, this was my whole motto. I was like, you know what? God spit me out this way, and I can't go back to him for a refund. So there ain't nothing that you can do, ain't nothing I can do. So either you deal with me as is, or you don't.
So that's where you had to arrive.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the final destination for me. My advice to, the teens out there is, like, you just look at yourself. Like, if you want to, like your example with the teen, you want to get all these piercings, all these tattoos for worth. Think about why you want to do it. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I have 2 tattoos, but I chose those tattoos for a reason.
Right. Not everybody who has tattoos does it, but
yeah.
I was just saying that he says he keeps doing it because he's looking for some kind of gratification. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
But as an example, if you do anything to yourself, via piercings, tattoos, even working out, reading, educating yourself, you got to know why you're doing it. You got to have that goal for yourself set in mind. Because at the end of the day, this road you walk is your road. Right. No matter who tells you you can't do it, if you know you can do it, you keep stepping to do it. You don't let anybody stop you from achieving what you want to achieve. Even if you fail at it, you fail at it trying. Because you know what? Most of those people that down you or try and get on your back about it aren't even trying to do what you're doing.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody want to go next, or you want me to go next? Okay. So if anyone knows me watching the show, and I'm sure our caller knows about this, I've been to almost every high school in Union County and even out of Union County, because I just had that many problems in high school with women. I've got thrown through trophy cases. I've got jumped I don't know how many times. Okay? And basically everyone always thought that I was so cute. I'm saying she thinks she's cute. I mean, there's and the caller that I have on the line right now can vouch for this. I've been to different high schools, and by the time they were done registering me, and anyone even knew my name, and I'm walking out the hall, everybody's already lining up who's going to fight me first. Oh my gosh. I am not joking with you. That's how it was. That's how it continued to be from maybe about 7th grade to my junior year.
Wow, you must could fight.
Wow. I can't count on 2 hands how many times I had a fight, and wow. I never initiated any of them.
They just stand like, look at her.
wait, no, it might have been 5th grade. It might have been 5th grade. Now I'm thinking it wasn't 6th grade. It might have been 5th grade. I mean, just never got suspended because the teachers always knew. I didn't want to fight, and I would tell these guys, I don't want to fight you, and they'd be like, I don't care, I'm gonna get you anyway.
Were these girls bigger than you? Like,
most of them, because I've always been tiny.
Right, so there was like no one like
and
your
they
height.
always wanted to jump me. They used to have scissors to cut my hair, razors to cut my face up. I'm talking about.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Okay, I'm talking about Rawway High School, Roselle, Newark, Scotch Plains, Westfield. I went to all these different high schools because my mother and father kept thinking if they sent me somewhere else it would change. My parents would tell me, don't talk to anyone. Whatever you do, don't say nothing to nobody when you start this school. And people would be like, hi, how you doing? I'd be like, because I was scared that. But after a while, it started to take its toll on me. Why does nobody like me? And I came to that point where it was like, I'd rather be dead than here dealing with this. But what happened is, after a while, luckily, for guy friends, as they started to point out my worth and the reason that these females are seeing it, because you know what these females saw, I didn't see. And all they did, they thought that they were chomping me down to size. They didn't realize that I never saw myself like they did anyway. So, I mean, I used to just be like, would somebody just be my friend?
Wow.
I wanted a friend so bad. But everybody thought that I was all that. And I tried to befriend some of these chicks, and they set me up, bring me over to different people's house, and jump me. Come to my house. I have a family member on the line right now. Come to my house. We in the house on a Friday night. I open the door, hit in the head with a bat, jumped by like 8, 9 girls. I'm not talking about one time. I'm talking about over and over and over again.
Wow.
I know what it's like to feel like nobody likes you and wants to be around you.
Wow.
I used to promise them boys, you like this boy? Oh, I'll go talk to him to get him, and I get my butt kicked even more after that because he ended up liking me.
Wow.
So I know what it's like. And yes, I did feel like at points I didn't want to live anymore. But I look back and now I can see all those insecurities that was just in those other women. But I have a very strong shell. Usually whatever I'm feeling on the inside, one cannot tell on the outside. So they thought I was happy. That's why they did them things to me. And I was happy until that happened. So people will try to steal your joy by spreading to you what they're feeling on the inside. So that was one of my, most depressing points of my life, but I got through it. And I went through it from, like I said, I thought it was 6th, 7th grade, but I just remembered it was 5th grade all the way through 11th grade.
Oh my gosh.
Luckily, I don't know what happened 12th grade. It was just calm.
They probably was just tired of fighting you. Like, you just kept coming
And
back.
they're all on my Facebook page this day.
Shut
I forgave
up.
everybody.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Because you know what? I'm happy I'm me, and now I understand why you don't want to be you. I didn't get it before. Because I'm not just nice looking on the outside. I'm happy and beautiful on the inside, and that's most important. I could never do that to anyone.
Wow.
Never.
And that's the best part about Revelations. Like, when you look back on it and you see what it really is there's no way in the world, if you thought the way you thought right now back then, there's no way you would even thought about it.
I would have killed somebody. If I didn't think the way I thought, all I went through, even just going to my parents dropped me off a talent show. After a while, they didn't want to take me anymore. They went outside. I'm in the talent show dancing. Somebody's like, oh, they just threw your sister in the bushes. She's 4 years younger than me. So if I was 15, she was like 11. And she's at the talent show with her sister, and the girls threw her in the bushes and waited for me to come out the door to jump me.
Shut up.
Yeah, I could go on with stories for days.
Wow.
Okay, so I know what it feels like. And for anybody out there listening, you do not want to kill yourself, because after that, it was a terrible 5-6 years. High school for me was awful. But I have to tell you that life after that, beautiful days, beautiful times. There are people out there who can really be friends to you. And if people do that to you, it's always for a reason. There's something inside of you don't see that others do.
Yeah, call in 646-233-1302. Share your story. Relationship coach Sadie was kind enough to share her situation with us on BKS1radio.com.
So, Eamon, we brought you on today because I want you to share some of your experiences and how you turn negative situations besides the one we just talked about. I want to specifically go to that one with the job in, was it Korea?
The Philippines?
Philippines, see. This is just an awesome story. Just talk about a man. We had a meeting a few weeks ago, Wayman and I. We had a meeting to meet up. And we're, set a time where we're going to meet and everything. And he sends me a text message, right? You sent the text message?
Oh, yeah.
To say that he was running late. He had a car accident, but he'll be there in a few minutes. And I'm like, whoa, this is a man who means business. You know what I mean? And showed up before I did.
Nah.
Like, he lets nothing stop him. And I said to him, you have to be on my show. Okay, wait a minute. So just tell us how, about this one story I remember you told me about was the one with the position in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was sent out from one of my jobs. I was out in the Philippines. I was assigned out there for about 6 months. I started off as just basically a subject matter expert. Just, answering questions on, what needed to be for the company, for the vendors. Eventually, the vendor manager I was working under actually noticed that I pick up a lot of things very quickly, and he started throwing little things at me to see what I actually knew, and he saw that I had knowledge in actually managing one of the sites. But what did it for him, as he told me, was I was there for maybe a week and a half, and I'm coming straight from New Jersey right into the Philippines. Never been in my life, but I was able to get along with every single person that worked.
Because decision too.
Yeah, because I decided, I was like, these are the people that we're working with. I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna make it the easiest I can and this is what I said to each team that I went to. I said, I'm gonna make it as easy as I can for all of y'all. If you have a question, if you don't feel like even coming up to me asking a question because you feel awkward, write it down on a note. Here's my IM. You can IM it to me. You set up it IM anonymous. I don't care how you do it, but I'm gonna let you know right now. For me, There's no such thing as a stupid question, only the right answer to point you in the direction you need to be. So with that, he found that the whole floor would come to me and ask me all these questions. And I would never turn anybody back. I would, some of the agents would come by and, it was getting to the point where it was just too many agents at one time. People were abandoning their phones to ask me a question. So I was like, wait, I want to answer all your questions, but we have to do this in a way where we're not keeping people waiting. So, through your supervisor, we'll get a list of questions. They'll come to me, and this way you guys can still keep talking, and you get all your information. With that, they decided to give me one of the sites to run by myself. The manager said, the reason why I'm giving you this site is because I have never seen an individual be accepted by a culture, a completely different culture, as fast as you did. There's 5 other people on this team they don't talk to, but they will come to you. And that 4th day, I had a group of them just ask me to go out. We went out to an island on the weekend just to, lounge out, have fun, talk, and, we made it fun. I mean, we had
now, what I want to ask you,
okay,
is based on what you shared with us about your most negative point of your life and a very positive point of your life, what would you say about that negative point of your life made you stronger? That if it had not happened when you went into Philippines.
Yeah.
Why do I want to go to Korea?
I don't know.
I want to put you in Korea so bad. Why, when you went into, what was it that you encountered in your past that made you the person that you were able to successfully achieve when you were in the Philippines?
Well, it's really simple. I just really realized, there's going to be people out there that just may not like you for their own personal reasons. Now, you can go down 2 roads. You can go down the road of trying to worry about why they don't like you and should you act the same way they do, or should you be the person you are. Whether they're treating you bad or not, if they come to you with something, which I do, I honestly do this. I have a person right now that hates my guts for no reason. But when they come to me, I will talk to them. I will answer their question. I will be just as pleasant as I want to be. I have no grudge against you because I have no problem with you. I'm fine with me. You may not like me. You may find 100 things wrong with me, and I can find 1,000 things that are right.
All right. So basically, from my experience, I know that those people in high school who had allowed me to endure, who played a part in me enduring what I endured, basically, it's made me a better person professionally now. Because in your same situation, I too can deal with anyone. I don't care how you feel about me, because I've had people feel the worst way about me already. You can't do anything that I haven't already become immune to. And it makes me so much stronger, so that I almost look back and say, you know what, I'm kind of glad I went through that at the same time.
Yeah, and see, for a lot of people, the power of bullying is insecurity.
Yes.
The second that you show that fear or that insecurity about yourself, about what they're saying, instead of saying, hey, I know my worth. I know what I'm going to do for me. At the end of the day, you can sit there all day and not like me, but you know what? Me, I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going to be. Come sunrise, come sunset, I'm going to still be me. There's nothing you or anybody else can do to stop that.
And the funny thing is, when you look back, those people didn't do anything fabulous.
No.
When you look back, all the people who did something fabulous were the ones who weren't liked either. They're doing nothing fabulous.
And it is so true. I just graduated yesterday, and the girls, no one liked me because they said when I walked, I stuck out my butt. And, I did used to walk on my tippy toes, but that was natural. Like, my mom put me in ballet because I walked on my toes so much. Mm-hmm. So that was just normal. And they would say, oh, look at how she walks. She thinks she eat all that. She's stuck up. She can see it. Never even said hi to me. Yeah. So they would go around telling the people that I was cool with, like, I want to fight her. And my friend be like, why? They'd be like, I don't know. I just don't like her. And they'd be like, that's stupid. And people be coming up to me me all through the school year. Like, mine didn't get as bad as yours because no one actually tried to fight me.
Right.
They would just go tell everybody else, I want to fight her.
Right.
You know, and it's just like, bro, then maybe about 10th, 11th grade, somewhere around there, I would have classes with these same girls that I was like, and then they talk to me, they'd be like, you know, you're really nice. You know, you're really not that bad. I don't know why I didn't like you freshman year. And I'm just like, well, that was you that didn't like me. I mean, whatever. I was like, you still want to fight me? He was like, no. And now you look, I see them now because, of course, Facebook has connected everybody, even the people that I don't want to talk to. But it's like they all got big, they out of shape, they not doing nothing.
They didn't care about themselves.
Nothing going for themselves.
They didn't care about themselves then, because when you care about yourself, your focus is on you, not nobody else.
And it's just like they used to spread lies. I was pregnant, I think, almost every year in high school. I mean, one time I was pregnant like twice, and I'm just like, how is this possible? Now they the ones that got 3, 4 kids.
Yeah.
You know, it's
With
just
babies.
like, it's just like, I thought that was, she's be pregnant by graduation. I wasn't pregnant at graduation. Like, look about who was
Right.
pregnant though. It's
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, that's. I've had that one too.
You
like,
know
where
what? May I say something?
Go ahead.
Thank you. I wanted to say to the young man that was speaking, and he was in the Orient country, that the reason people speak to you like that is because of love. Like I was saying earlier, love. And when you're speaking, it's you have a heart-spoken voice, and so automatically when you speak, you're going to draw people to you, and that's exactly what that is with you.
Well, thank you, and
Excuse me?
I said thank you very much, and I'll be honest with you, it's a learned trait. I mean, it wasn't easy to do, but once you figure yourself out, once you find your niche, and I mean for some kids, I'll take a quote from a movie I watched, Bad Teachers. Sometimes you just have to be real with it. For some kids, high school may not be your time.
Most of the people in high school who it's their time is not their time the rest of their lives, it seems like. That's when you go back to reunion, and it's like that's you?
Exactly. It's all about timing. I mean, even in my high school reunion, I've had people come to me like, oh my God, you lost so much weight. I said, yeah, I know, because I did all my fat backwards. I started my fat all in life. So when that came later in life, I wouldn't have to worry about it. I mean, it's just, this is just how I became. It's like, what I'd say for me, that whole freshman year, that was the first half of my freshman year that I thought about it. The second half, it was all downhill because I started getting like this. My best thing was like, there's nothing you can't do to me that I can't do to myself 2 times better. Mm-hmm. So if you think you're going to get to me by saying what you're going to say, I'm just going to let you know that, it's not going to work for you. You better try another career, different path for you. I even had, like the hazing, big thing in high school, even through college, freshman year. Now, that second half, hazing was big. Everybody, all the upperclassmen wanted to beat up on the freshmen. It was unfortunate for them because when I found myself, that second half of that freshman year, I was in like the school newspapers, rolling them up with Scotch tape, and I was hunting down upperclassmen. And I was smacking them in the back of the head with the paper. Like, look, it's like, if I'm going to get hit, we're going to be proactive about it. I need you to have a reason to hit me. So this was my whole thing. And it also goes back to what you said, family base. Like, my parents were, especially my mother. My mother was like, listen, you get into a fight, you better not be the one starting it. But you better be the one that finishes it. Because if you're not finishing it, we're going to have issues. And I'll be honest with you, I'd rather finish it than have an issue with my mother.
I know that's right.
Because your mother, father, then the rest of your family going to lay into you later on once they hear about it, want to know why you sat down there and did nothing. Mm-hmm. So like I said, when I found it, I was like, hey, I'm good. I'm going to be good regardless. It's like, even, and the bullying thing, you would be surprised for a man where some of that comes from. If you're like, I played all sports, football, basketball, track. The biggest bully I encountered throughout my term in high school was my coaches.
Really?
Football coaches, like
like the Joe Paterno case. No, I'm just joking. But
no,
I'm serious.
No,
Think about it. The coaches are not what we thought.
I mean, like but this is more on the emotional abuse scale.
No, I know what you're saying, but I'm just pointing out. Period.
Yeah,
you gotta watch coach. Yeah.
But I mean, and
I
it's
don't
like,
just mean from a sexual aspect. I mean coaches. Period.
Yeah,
but I just pointed that out. Like, look.
Yeah.
And it's ironic because 9 times out of 10, the biggest bully in the school that's bullying most of these teens is probably the starter in a sport like football.
Mm-hmm.
And not that there's anything wrong with football, but it's just that the coach's job is to bring out the animal, the aggressor.
Yeah.
And what happened with me was the biggest problem the coach had was, that next year, sophomore year through senior year, he tried everything he could to, goad me. And I would just look at him and laugh at him. And one time he even tried to just publicly humiliate me in the locker room with the rest of the team.
I saw people do that. Coaches do that.
He'll tell you, don't come to me talking about what plays you made. Now, mind you, he's screaming at me and I have my back turned because I'm putting my equipment in the locker. And I started noticing everybody looking at me. So I turned around and he's talking to me. I'm like,
"Oh, you talking to me?"
I was like, he's like, "Yeah, I'm talking to you." No, you're not talking to me, bro. He's like, "Excuse me, you not talking to me, bro." And the whole everybody on our team kind of stopped because they never really saw that side of me. Because when that second half of the year came, summer was my full transformation.
Yeah.
So sophomore year up, nobody actually saw that side. So they were like, "Okay, he usually doesn't say anything. He kind of lets people just talk to him any kind of way, and then he just sits quiet. He's like just a big blob of, goo." So when I turn around, look at him, I was like, "You're not talking to me." I am. You want to talk to this team? You can do what you want to do. I mean, I ain't got to play here. I could transfer to another school. It ain't nothing.
Well, thank you very much for pointing out, because as they said, statistics show that a lot of males actually have a higher suicide attempt or rate than females. So there may be some males listening or watching that are experiencing that. And yes, your coach should not be emotionally abusive to you either. And you do need to plug that hole that allows him to get in through to you too. So thank you very much for everyone for watching. I hope we were able to help you today with some survival techniques and share our own situations, so you know you are not alone. You will survive. Here's Donna Summer. I will survive. Make sure you check us out every Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Let's get on Relationship Coach Sadie. Thank you very much for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Stay tuned for the 24-hour music play on BKS1radio.com.